In a small, forgotten town deep inside Uruguay, a young boy first touched a football, and something extraordinary began. Long before the fame, before the packed stadiums and thunderous applause, there was just a dream, a dirt field, and a kid who seemed to see the game differently. His name, Giorgian De Arrascaeta, a name that would later echo through the walls of Maracana and send chills down the spines of defenders across Brazil. Today, we're not just talking about one of Flamengo's most decisive players. We're uncovering the full story. Who is the man behind the magic? What was his journey from poverty to prestige? And what mysteries still surround his life off the pitch? From his first club at just 4 years old to the pressure of being a key piece in one of the biggest teams in South America, from family sacrifices to personal luxuries, there's much more to this story than meets the eye. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover goes far beyond football. It's a story of talent, resilience, and a destiny that seemed written long before the world knew his name. And before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss a single chapter of this incredible journey. He wasn't just given a name, he was given a legacy. Giorgian De Arrascaeta was named after a horse, not just any horse, but a legendary one his father once rode as a jockey, a champion that never lost a single race. In his family, the love for horses ran deep, and for a while young Giorgian dreamed of following in his father's footsteps, galloping down racetracks with the same fierce determination. But fate had other plans. Everything changed the day he saw his father fall. A violent crash during a race left him with a broken arm and a heart full of fear. That moment shifted something inside the boy. The saddle and reins would be left behind. His future wouldn't be on a track, it would be on the pitch. And instead of races, there would be goals. Many, many goals. Even as a child, he showed signs of something rare, a spark, a genius for the game. His father, captivated by his son's raw talent, came up with a little challenge, a reward of 5 pesos for every goal Giorgian scored. It seemed like a fun way to encourage the boy, but what started as motivation quickly became unsustainable. In local youth tournaments, Giorgian exploded with 49 goals. The family reward system had to be cut short, not because the talent wasn't there, but because it was overwhelming. He was that good. As his talent continued to grow, it became impossible to keep him in the small town of Nuevo Berlin. Representing the Rio Negro department and shining at Club Anglo, he began attracting attention. Soon, the mighty Defensa Sporting came knocking. This was the beginning of a real journey, the professional path of a small-town boy who had already learned how to enchant any field he touched. At just 15, Giorgian packed his bags, left his hometown behind, and traveled over 400 kilometers to Montevideo to chase the dream. It was there, in 2012, freshly turned 18, that he made his debut in Uruguay's first division. And it didn't take long for the football world to take notice. By 2013, he was a Clausura champion, and in 2014, he led Defensa Sporting all the way to the Copa Libertadores semi-finals, dazzling fans and scouts alike. The spark had become a flame. In January 2015, Brazilian giants Cruzeiro, fresh off a national title, decided to take a bold step. They invested heavily and brought the young Uruguayan to Belo Horizonte. It didn't take long for Giorgian to prove them right. His refined technique, high football IQ, and decisive presence made him a pillar of the team. One unforgettable night came in October 2016. In the quarterfinals of the Copa do Brasil against Corinthians, De Arrascaeta didn't just play, he orchestrated a masterpiece. In a thrilling 4-2 win, he was involved in every goal, delivering assists, drawing fouls, taking corners, and even scoring himself. That match was a statement, the kind only special players can make. By 2017, he had already reached 100 appearances for Cruzeiro and lifted his first major title in Brazil, the Copa do Brasil, won in a dramatic penalty shootout against none other than Flamengo. Slowly, the story of Giorgian De Arrascaeta was being etched into the club's history. And the following year, it only grew stronger. He shattered records, became the foreigner with the most appearances in Cruzeiro's history, and tied with Marcelo Moreno as the club's top-scoring non-Brazilian. Even after returning from a long journey to Japan, he stepped onto the field for the 2018 Copa do Brasil final and scored a decisive goal, helping Cruzeiro claim yet another trophy. But then came a turning point that would change not just his career, but the trajectory of Brazilian football. In 2019, De Arrascaeta signed with Flamengo in a record-breaking $15 million deal, the most expensive transfer in Brazilian football history at the time. From the moment he put on the red and black jersey, it was clear this wasn't just a good signing, it was a game-changer. He became the brain and heartbeat of Flamengo's midfield. With surgical passing, unmatched vision, and an uncanny ability to decide games, Giorgian lit up the stage. In his first year alone, he delivered unforgettable performances, a stunning hat-trick against Goiás, crucial assists, and a moment that would go down in history, the match-winning assist in the Copa Libertadores final against River Plate. He didn't just win, he dominated. De Arrascaeta was named man of the match multiple times, shattered records on fantasy football platforms like Cartola FC, and earned the title of Uruguayan Sportsman of the Year. And that was just the beginning. Year after year, he's maintained an elite level of performance, a player who doesn't just play football, but paints it like a master on canvas. From the roar of the Maracanã to the quiet hum of a bakery oven in Rio, the story of Giorgian De Arrascaeta goes far beyond football. By the time we reached 2024, he had already become a living legend at Flamengo. With over 200 appearances in the iconic red and black jersey, more than 50 goals, and upwards of 60 assists, Arrascaeta had long solidified his place not just as a player, but as the mind behind some of the club's most decisive moments. He wasn't just part of the squad. He was its pulse. From the Supercopa do Brasil to the Campeonato Carioca, from unforgettable battles in the Copa do Brasil to another triumphant Libertadores title in 2022, Giorgian was at the center of it all. And just when some wondered if he could still push the bar even higher, 2024 came around. In the very first tournament of the season, he was crowned best player. A reminder to anyone who doubted that greatness doesn't fade, it evolves. But the man behind the number 14 shirt isn't defined solely by what he does with the ball at his feet, his talents, his ambitions, his heart. They stretch far beyond the white lines of the pitch. Off the field, Arrascaeta has built a brand, but not in the superficial sense we often see in modern sports. His work with major brands goes beyond flashy endorsements. These are partnerships built on connection, on truth. Companies don't just see a footballer in Giorgian. They see someone who resonates with real people, someone whose story has weight, whose image carries authenticity, and whose presence gives meaning to every campaign he's part of. And while social media has amplified that image, his ventures aren't limited to the digital world. Nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of Barra da Tijuca in Rio de Janeiro, there's a special place that tells another chapter of his story. Rio Sucre, a boutique bakery born from a genuine love for sweets and the little moments that make life beautiful. It's not just a business, it's a space with soul, a place where attention to detail, warmth and creativity come together, where every cake, every pastry carries a whisper of personal meaning. Rio Sucre became more than just a shop. It became a meeting point, a space that reflects Giorgian's personality, quiet, refined, yet full of flavor. Between filming a commercial and tasting a fresh batch straight out of the oven, he's been building something rare, a life that's both profitable and purposeful. A life filled not only with trophies and titles, but also with recipes, risks, and reinvention. And when it comes to wealth, well, talking about fortune is always a sensitive subject, especially when it involves someone who earned every cent with their own effort, their own sweat, their own story. At just 30 years old, Giorgian has already accumulated a fortune estimated at over 24 million reais, according to financial publications that follow the lives of celebrities and elite athletes. And let's not forget, he's only just getting started. When Flamengo signed him in January 2019, he was already one of the most expensive players in the history of Brazilian football. With a salary of around 1 million reais per month at the time, he became one of the highest-paid stars in the league. And in January 2022, that number only grew after he renewed his contract with the club until December 2026. It wasn't just a contract extension, it was a statement of trust. Flamengo wasn't just investing in a player. They were betting on a leader, a symbol, and a rare talent who continues to rewrite what it means to be an icon in modern football. In the end, the story of Giorgian De Arrascaeta is much more than stats and silverware. It's about dreams that never die, about rising from humble beginnings, about knowing who you are and staying true to that, no matter how high you rise. From the fields of Uruguay to the streets of Rio, from assists on the pitch to pastries in the oven, his legacy is being built, moment by moment, detail by detail. And the best part, his story is far from over. While Giorgian De Arrascaeta's brilliance on the pitch continues to mesmerize fans game after game, his journey off the field is equally captivating. A reflection of a man who turned dreams into legacy and talent into a life most only imagine. With a monthly salary reportedly close to 1.6 million reais, he stands side by side with Flamengo icons like Gabigol as one of the club's highest earners. But recent rumors suggest that Giorgian may be looking to go even further. Talks of a new contract extension have surfaced, this time aiming for a salary bump to 2 million reais per month and a deal that would keep him at the club until the end of 2028. However, negotiations have hit a standstill for now, with the requested numbers sparking careful deliberation within the club's boardrooms. And yet, as tense as the business side may seem, Giorgian's life beyond football paints a much calmer, more intimate portrait of success. Away from the pressure and passion of the stadiums, he embraces a lifestyle that balances luxury, taste and peace, a quiet reward for years of dedication and excellence. In the western part of Rio de Janeiro, nestled in the prestigious neighborhood of Barra da Tijuca, Giorgian found his personal sanctuary. His home, a stunning modern mansion, is a space designed not just for living, but for sharing life, with spacious interiors, tasteful decor, and serene surroundings filled with greenery. It's a place where comfort meets class. The mansion includes a gorgeous pool, a gourmet area perfect for weekend gatherings, and all the charm that turns a house into a home. It's not unusual to see him on social media, casually enjoying a sunny afternoon with friends and family, laughter echoing through the open spaces. The cost of this luxury? Nearly several million reais, a figure that speaks volumes, not just of wealth, but of a dream earned and built with patience. And then there's the garage, another glimpse into Giorgian's refined taste. Behind the gates of his home sits a lineup of high-end cars that combine power and elegance. Among them, a standout, the BMW X6, valued at approximately 700,000 reais. He's also been seen behind the wheel of sleek Audi and Mercedes-Benz models, choosing vehicles that reflect his personality, bold, sophisticated, and always composed. Much like his presence on the pitch, his taste in cars speaks of balance. He enjoys the finer things, yes, but never in a way that feels excessive or out of touch. His choices reflect someone who values beauty, comfort, and functionality over flash. That same elegance follows him beyond his home and car keys. Giorgian is often spotted traveling the world, exploring breathtaking destinations, attending exclusive events, or simply spending time with loved ones in places most only dream of visiting. Whether he's strolling through the streets of Europe or enjoying a beach escape with family, he does so with the same quiet confidence he shows in football. Fashion, always on point. designer pieces, tasteful accessories, and a well-curated style that never screams for attention. It simply commands respect. Despite all the luxury and spotlight, there's something incredibly grounded about him. He remains soft-spoken, private, almost shy when it comes to showing off. He enjoys his world, yes, but he doesn't flaunt it. He lives it, quietly, gracefully, authentically. There's a certain strength in his silence. A man who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, because his achievements already speak louder than words ever could. With a rock-solid career, a lifestyle that balances sophistication and simplicity, and a legacy growing stronger every season, Giorgian De Arrascaeta has carved out a space in football history that few foreigners ever achieve in Brazil. Whether through his visionary passes, his love for family, or his effortless class off the pitch, he continues to inspire, not just as a footballer, but as a man. And now I want to know, did you already know all this about Flamengo's number 14? Were you aware of the stories behind the goals, the life behind the legend? If this side of De Arrascaeta surprised or inspired you, let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the bell so you won't miss the next chapter in the lives of football's brightest stars. Because here, we go beyond the goals. We bring you the soul behind the jersey, with truth, emotion, and the magic that only football can deliver.